Hospital and Nursing Facility. My name is Emily Usop, and I'm a member of the HHC Board of Directors and the chair of the Capital Committee and the Board. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the other members of the board who are here with me this evening. To my left is Dr. Michael Stocker, who is chairman of the board, and there's Reverend Diane Lacey, vice chair of the board, and then Josephine Bolas, member of the Capital Committee. To my right is the president of HHC, Alan Aviles. Also on the panel, next to Alan, are Salvatore Russo, general counsel, and he will be the moderator for the evening, and then Patricia Lockhart, secretary to the corporation. A public hearing must be held in order for the New York City Health and Hospital Corporation to proceed with the transfer of land and building to the City of New York of approximately 9.8861 acres located on the campus of the Goldwater Specialty Hospital and Nursing Facility. This property is located at 1 Main Street, Roosevelt Island, New York, block 1373, lot 20. This public hearing must occur prior to HHC's Capital Committee and Board of Directors authorization allowing the President to surrender the land and building to the City of New York. Additional approvals by the Office of the Mayor and the City Council must be obtained pursuant to HHC's Enabling Act. I would like to thank all of you for participating in today's public hearing. We look forward to hearing your comments on this matter. Now I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Russo.
Thank you, Committee Chair Youssef. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here at the scenic Roosevelt Island at Goldwater Specialty Hospital and Nursing Home for this public hearing concerning the transfer of land in a building located on approximately 9.9 acres on the campus of this facility to the City of New York. The purpose of this hearing is to afford you an opportunity to present oral and written testimony concerning the proposed transfer of land and a building. Public testimony, both oral and written, will be transcribed and forwarded to all members of the HHC Board for their consideration. Let me remind any member of the audience who would like to speak tonight that all speakers need to be registered. If you have not registered in advance, in-person registration is still going on until 6:30 tonight, and it's out the front of the door. So please feel free, if you wish to register at this time. As Committee Chair Youssef noted, I will moderate the balance of tonight's hearing, during which you, the members of the public, are invited to share your comments and concerns. At this juncture, I will briefly review the format and rules for this important part of tonight's proceedings. The members of the Board of Directors are here to listen to you and to your comments. This is not a question and answer format, and each registered speaker is allotted an opportunity to testify. Registered speakers are allowed 5 minutes speaking time. There's an electronic timer on the podium which will signal when the time has expired. A yellow light will indicate that there are 2 minutes remaining of the 5 minutes. A red light will signal the fact that your time has elapsed, and a blinking red light will indicate that you're over time. If you do not complete your comments within the allotted time and have written testimony that constitutes your full remarks, you may submit them at the conclusion of your 5 minutes for inclusion in the record. Your written submission, together with the transcript of your oral testimony, will be shared with all members of the board. Kindly note that a transfer or yielding of time from one speaker to another is prohibited. Finally, I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any of the names of the registered speakers. Thank you for your participation, and we look forward to hearing your comments this evening and views. We will now call the first registered speaker. And for purposes of the record, I'd like to note that Mr. Anthony Feliciano, Director of the Commission on Public Health System, has submitted written testimony which will be part of the record this evening. The first registered speaker is Shaw Leah, a current patient at Goldwater. Please come to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shar. My last name is Lay, and I'll address this to Ms. Youssef and Mr. Rousseau and all the directors of the board. My interest in this building is purely aesthetic. I make New York souvenirs, which is the Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty, which isn't just a monument, but buildings that are the Chrysler, the Flatiron, etc. And this building is beautiful because it has such history. But when it was built, whenever that was in the beginning, had such an immense type of structure that I don't think you could even bomb it. Not just for that reason, it's the aesthetic. So the aesthetic. It's beautiful, sound, structure, and could be used for anything, and has been over the years, as I understand that it went from one kind of condition to another. To see it torn down, I think it would be a shame. It could be used if they wanted to do any kind of internal cosmetic, that could be easily done. But to take the building and the trees and the whole landscape, it would be just a shame. That's how I feel about it.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lane. Jamil Freedom, Goldwater patient.
Peace, everyone. I'm here today to tell the truth and to shame the devil. I've lived at Goldwater for 19 years, and for many of those 19 years, when someone came to visit me, I would tell them I had $1 million view of the Manhattan skyline, which is true, because anyone who lives around this area, they pay astronomical rents to live there and to see the Manhattan skyline. This is the last place in New York City where the poor, disabled, and disadvantaged could consider themselves a part of real New York, whether you were rich or whether you were poor. You could be poor and still have $1 million view of Manhattan. But after October, there will never be that view for poor folks again. Mayor Bloomberg, with his authority to rule New York, has turned New York into a tale of two cities, a city for the rich and a city for the poor. There is no more middle class in New York because even nurses are living from paycheck to paycheck. Now imagine people just making minimum wage at MD. And can you imagine someone living on public assistance and food stamps out there living? So Mayor Bloomberg has turned New York into one side for the rich, one side for the poor. That's what New York is today. If you don't have money, you don't have a good life. But me, I can smile, I can think, and I can help those who don't know. I am thankful that during my stay in Goldwater, I've met someone by the name of Aunt Carter. Aunt Carter has changed the lives of thousands of patients and residents. No matter what budget cuts the city threw at us, Mr. Carter tried and meant those women to stop the leaks, to make the quality of life better. So, no matter what Bloomberg did, and made our lives that much better. And in closing, if the board could, which I know you won't, don't let Bloomberg do this to us. He's a thief, he's a robber, and he's a man out to help the rich and to take from the poor. Anytime the city needs to cut money, first people get cut. Senior citizens, disabled, after school programs, park, children, anyone of that effect, Latinos and blacks, to name just a few. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Freedom. Sandra Stevens. Private citizen.
Hi, my name is Sandra Stevens. I'm called to talk about the property as well as the patients and nurses and doctors that are in this hospital. They seem to be well balanced, but my concern was I was a student nurse. I started out here, I think, in '69 from Bellevue, Hunter, and got my registered nursing license, but my concern is the property, and this building is really nice. And this room that we're in is like a bomb shelter. And it keeps a lot of noise out and what's in. And when they had the storm, this building stood up above most of the buildings on the island. I really was concerned when I went to the public meeting in town. They had a meeting saying they're going to build trams and they're going to build a hotel. And we were concerned, why wasn't everybody invited from the city or the HHC or not? This was a public meeting in town, and they said that they're selling it to the college. Fine. But when they said they were going to build a hotel with airspace above, and the people in town was very upset because it's no way of getting all that traffic on the island off. But they gave us a good explanation, and we went on. But my concern more is to the schools here, the children. It's a nice little island. It should have been some more consideration in selling it to someone else. If you sold it to the school, build a nursing home on top of it, or something like that, but not a hotel. And that's what the city council had on the board, and Jessica Lapton had on hers. It's in the minutes of the town paper. They wanted to build a hotel. So I think if they just keep the school, we'll go along with that. But a hotel is something outrageously. Okay. But thanks for letting me talk. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Thank you. The next speaker is Ann Mitchell-Tree, who is a concerned citizen.
Hello, okay. Thank you for allowing me to speak at this meeting. I understand the Health and Hospitals Corporation of New York City has agreed to relinquish the Goldwater campus building and its 9 acres of forest land. All of the residents will be relocated out of the building on or before November 1st, 2013. I understand that the land has been given to Cornell University to install a college for electrical engineering, similar to the Silicon Valley of California. Because I work at the Goldwater campus and I was present during all of the Hurricane Sandy and its aftermath, I have several concerns that I would like to mention. Firstly, I recognize that Silicon Valley is a product of Santa Clara County in the Santa Cruz Mountains of California to the south of the San Francisco Bay that became a hub for engineers and scientists. Those same scientists would understand that Roosevelt Island is now in a Zone A floodplain. During Hurricane Sandy, more than 200 residents had to be evacuated from the northern Kohler campus. The southern campus at Goldwater was able to house them and to meet their medical and psychological needs. When our Goldwater campus is closed and there are 800 disabled residents at the northern Kohler campus, where will they go in the next flood evacuation? My second concern is that there are currently not less than 96 fully grown mature trees which outline the borders of the Goldwater property. I'm very glad you could come out in July and see how full and beautiful our trees are this year. During the Hurricane Sandy, the water came up over the cement, across the cherry trees, across the sidewalk, across the street, across the other sidewalk, and about 10 foot up towards the building. Because the roots of the trees create a sponge-like web underneath the ground, they were able to absorb the water. And in fact, the trees are like drinking straws, and they pulled the water up out of the earth. And that is why you see them in such glorious beauty this summer. They are full of the water from Hurricane Sandy. How many of those mature trees will be cut down in the Cornell plan, and how will that affect the watershed in the next storm? Lastly, I question the convenience of trying to establish a hub for engineers and scientists on an island which has been affected by flooding during the Hurricane Sandy of 2012. I question if this Roosevelt Island in the floodplain is really the best choice of land for an electrical engineering program which might do better under a drier and more stable weather pattern. I sincerely doubt that the available transportation system of one bridge, one bus, one subway, and one tram is sufficient to supply a fully global international community of scientists and engineers. It's important to me that Cornell University make a commitment to maintaining the 96 trees, that's about 9 per acre, that are on this property right now. If Cornell is to use this property, I think they should devise a plan that meets the needs of the constituents who live on the island by maintaining the ecology of the environment, maintaining the natural beauty and ecological strength of the land, providing a realistic program for the advancements of science, which includes earth science, social science, and medicine. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Selma Johnson, resident. Thank you. Judith Birdie, Kohler cab member.
Good evening. I'm not only a Kohler cab member, I'm a 36-year resident of the island. And the first time I stepped foot on this island was a few years before, in 1960, never mind. Before Goldwater was built, this was the site of the Blackwells and then Welfare Island Penitentiary. Mayor LaGuardia became mayor, and within the weeks of becoming mayor, the place was so bad, he had it raided by Austin McCormick, the corrections commissioner, and immediately work was started on Rikers Island, the new glamour, maybe high-tech prison of the future out on Rikers Island. And this site became the home of the Chronic Disease Hospital. The cornerstone was laid in 1937 by Figueroa LaGuardia and Commissioner Sigmund S. Goldwater. The hospital opened in 1939. You always need a little history lesson from me. The first patients who were treated here had arthritis, long-term diseases, cirrhosis, kidney diseases, polio especially, iron lungs galore. NYU was one of the partners in the research facility. There was a 100-bed research unit in the North Building, as was Columbia University. One of the interns' residence requirements was to spend a few months at Goldwater Hospital. There was a doctor and instructor at Columbia, David Siegel, who taught the doctors of the future how to talk to patients. I have gotten numerous letters from doctors who are now mostly elderly, telling me about the wonderful things they learned at Goldwater Hospital, how to talk to patients, how to do research, because this was long-term care. They did not have to admit them and discharge them immediately. And this is some of the hidden history of Goldwater Hospital. During World War II, malaria research was done here. Thermal research was done here. Starvation research was done here. Yes, it was in the days before informed consent. But conscientious objectors were sent here to do a term working as orderlies and being guinea pigs for medical research. This was all at Goldwater Hospital. It has been a home to many people for many years, as our first speaker said. My own mother was here. It's a wonderful place. I joke that her room looked like the Franklin Roosevelt suite because it was a little outdated. But the care, the staff, everyone who works with the patients here has been exemplary. It is very hard to see this piece of Roosevelt Island history go down. And damn it, she will give you a run for the money because she's built like a fortress. It is a landmark of medicine. It is a landmark of medical history that should be preserved, that the HHC should be proud of, that should be in some way encapsulated with the island history, because it is very, very important. I know Cornell claims they're going to be good neighbors, but I do have to thank Goldwater. There's a wonderful picture of barges being used in the east side of the East River when Goldwater was built, because this is one of our big concerns about taking down the old lady and putting up a new facility. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to think of the wonderful history this building has had and how it has served thousands and thousands of New York City residents. And hopefully we'll find a happy place for the residents to relocate to, and Hank Carter will start a new tradition. Thank you.
Thank you for the history lesson. Judith Ginsburg, HHC employee at Goldwater, a therapeutic recreation department.
Hi, I now wish I had written my comments. So, I have to say I'm a little confused about the timing of this event. Seems like a lot too late, and which makes actually my comments rather moot. However, I feel that the extraordinariness of this unique facility needs to be voiced, it needs to be heard, it needs to be on the record, and the fact that, you know, so I'm here to speak to that. I believe this is an incredibly unique facility. I wonder if there's, besides Kohler that reflects in some way, I wonder if there's another one in the world, and I doubt that there'll ever be another one in the world. The extraordinary resources for compromise, for differently abled people are incredible here. They're so numerous. Just to name some, I'm sure most of you know, maybe you don't. There's the greenhouse, the garden. Right now, we just took a zucchini this big from the garden today, and a cucumber not so big, but more to come. The computer lab, this enormous, wonderful auditorium, which my department does events for absolutely every event that comes down the pike, every occasion, and for every group. It's afforded patients and residents here to have resources that they couldn't have anywhere else. To be able to come to parties and events, beautiful parties and with music and refreshments, and feel like part of a community. Building community is something I really care about, and I believe building community as healing and therapeutic. And this facility has done that. It's been able to build community. People have lived here for years, as the first speaker spoke, and feel a part of something. The setting is so gorgeous. We know that. So gorgeous that the real estate was too good to sort of keep for people with nothing, apparently. The fact that our patients and residents can go outside and feel safe and feel comfortable and not have to worry about the madness in the city, in the boroughs. It's been a safe haven, a wonderful safe haven for so many people. I have been very distraught by the coming demise of this facility. I haven't even named all the other resources that are here, and my mind isn't really working that well, some of it says. But the cooking classes in the activity room, the art group, I'm a dance movement therapist, I go to all the units, people come here, people come together to feel okay, to feel normal, to feel like they're a part of. I find it a great irony that the park that was dedicated last year, just south of here, is dedicated to a famously differently disabled individual, FDR, and yet the disabled folks here are being thrown out. It strikes me as quite an irony. For me, the loss of this extraordinary facility is heartbreaking. Let me just say one more thing. I do a lot of one-to-ones, take patients who don't have family, take them, go to their bedside, take them out if I can. Sometimes just to bring somebody outside, to watch the boats go by, to see the seagulls, to see Manhattan across the way, to look at the cherry blossoms for the minute that they appear. It is such a healing moment. It's such a doable thing. Will that be possible in Harlem? It's not going to be quite the same. I just want to acknowledge the incredibleness of this facility, and I want it to be remembered. And I would do anything to roll this back. And I guess that's all I'm going to say. I'll think of 9,000 other things I wanted to say afterwards, but I guess this is it. Thank you for my opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Maria Witherspoon, resident at Goldwater campus.
Can translate for Maria from Spanish to English?
My name, Maria Witherspoon. I got me here at Goldwater. I got me here at Goldwater, 1981. El nombre mío, María Witherspoon.
Mi nombre es María Witherspoon.
Vine en el 1981.
I came in 1991. 81.
Tengo 32 años en el hospital.
I have 32 years in the hospital.
Vine jovencita aquí.
I came when I was a young lady.
En el C12, la primera vez. C12.
In the C2 the first time.
En C12.
Oh, C12 the first time.
Ahí vine la primera vez y conocí a Gencar.
I came the first time and I met Hen Carol. This is Mr. Carter.
Estaban todos los niños
All the kids were there,
y él dio todo la reputación de la escuela,
and also the reputation of the school.
el gencal, él lo mandaba a la escuela.
Mr. Carroll will send them to school.
Y, sí, y la social machine, ¿verdad? La social machine, y todo de eso a los niños y para mí, siempre fue bueno conmigo, es como si fuera un hermano mío.
Mr. Carter was always really nice to us. He was like he was my brother.
Porque él no solamente aquí siempre ayudaba a todos los pacientes,
Not only would he help all the patients,
en los otros hospitales que quedan cerca de aquí.
and also all the other hospitals that were close by.
Por eso que todo, yo siento que ¿cómo se llama? El meo,
I feel that this mayor, Mr. Bloomberg,
que ha hecho eso, a cerrar el hospital, solamente aquí en muchos sitios,
that for him to do that, to close this facility and in other places,
porque muchos se han quejado del otro hospital,
a lot of people have complained about the other hospital.
porque como no tienen sitio y ellos no tienen donde dinero y de donde irse a muchos nursing homes.
Because a lot of them don't have money or places to go.
Uno se siente mal y aquí las nursas me entendían bien, o las nursas me entendían bien.
All the nurses always take care of me really well.
Sí, entonces así quiero que cuando yo vaya en el nuevo hospital tengan lo mismo que me atiendan bien como a otros también.
So when I go to the new facility, I want to make sure that I'm really well taken care of like here.
Ok, gracias por escucharme.
Thank you so much for listening.
By the way, thank you for interpreting. And what's your name so we can say thank you?
Miss Pina.
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Witherspoon. Sam Bishop, member, consultant, Rose Hill Community Association.
Good evening, my name is Sam Bishop. I'm representing the Roosevelt Community Association from Manhattan. We are big boosters of NYU, Bellevue, and the Veterans Administration, and Beth Israel, for that matter. But I'm here tonight to talk about a transfer of property and what the danger is if you don't put restrictive covenants on the property at the time of transfer. Downstream, you have no control over what the property will be used for. And one of the dangers is, if it's in city hands and the Cornell deal falls through, this may become an incinerator site. And that will endanger all the HHC facilities as well as all the investments in the dormitory authority, and it will also endanger the lives of everybody in the area. So, I just wanted to add one more issue and give you an example of what happens if you don't put a restrictive covenant, such as so many trees and so much of the property must be maintained as open space, etc., etc., etc. An example is the example on 25th Street, right next door to Bellevue, and between Bellevue and Veterans Administration, Hunter College at the Brookdale Science Campus is transferring the property over to the Department of Sanitation. And guess what is being installed right next to the Bellevue emergency room and right under the air conditioning intakes of Veterans Administration. What's being installed is a Department of Sanitation maintenance garage consisting of at least 160 different vehicles, of which 66 are garbage trucks, 15 or thereabouts are involved with salt spraying, and another 34 are what they call street sweepers or brooms. Point being, these vehicles operate 3 shifts a day, 7 days a week. There'll be possibly as many as 900 trips per day of these collective vehicles in and out of the facility. The problem is they're using the same entrance and exit that Bellevue does for the emergency vehicles. I mean, this is, I don't want to use the word madness, but that's what this is. I'm just simply saying it's very poor planning on the part of everyone involved. Now, the other thing we discovered, and because this was never revealed in the filing documents of the Department of Sanitation, is that they have already admit that there will be at least 75 to 100,000 gallons of diesel fuel stored on site within a few feet of Bellevue. The question is, what happens if any of these facilities ever have an accident? There's already been 2 terrible ones here. One of them was a sanitation pier on West 59th Street in September of 2010. Which the whole pier went up in flames. Now, what would happen if we had that same situation in the DOS facility between VA and Bellevue? I don't want to contemplate the downside. The other thing is, the site, once they obtain permission to build, they will have as-of-right procedure in place to install 8,000 tons of road salt. Now, road salt is more than just salt. There's an anti-caking agent added to it called ferrocyanide. This is the real stuff. And 25% of that cyanide will oxidize into vapors and be emitted right into the air intakes of both Bellevue and VA and all the other facilities in the neighborhood, including NYU. So my significant contribution to this hearing is to warn HHC about transferring property without restrictive covenants. You must say what it can only be used for reverts back to HHC. And another solution to that same issue is maybe you should take over the former Hunter College site and then transfer it to Cornell or to NYU or use it for Bellevue expansion. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I did want to add two documents.
If you'd like to give the statement to our Corp reporter, that would be great.
I'll make sure it's included in the transfer. I'll make sure it's included.
Thank you. Agnes Abraham, Chair of Kings County Hospital Center Council of Calves.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. My name is Agnes Abraham, and I'm the chair of Kings County Advisory Board and the chair of the Council of Community Advisory Boards for the Health and Hospitals Corporation. Ms. Aviles, and to the members on the days, the administration and senior staff, and to the CABs that are here and the CAB members, friends, and concerned citizens. HHC, in its wisdom, has always done, given the constraints of budgetary restrictions and strict economic conditions, what it does best for all of its facilities. At this time, I'm sure, given the stratospheric emotions that have been read, displayed, or spoken about this upcoming venture, serious condition, serious emotions, serious wrestling has been done by Mr. Aviles, I'm sure, and his senior staff about this project. We know New York City has a vested interest in ensuring continued development either in housing, education, or health. And they, like HHC, would always, we think, do what is best for us. What we want to ensure is that at the end of the day, the emotions, the recommendations, and the concerns of all parties involved, when the meeting of the minds is done, you may not always satisfy everyone, but for the public good, you do what is best for the majority. As chair of the Council of Advisory Boards, it is sometimes heartbreaking to sit and listen to persons like myself who are disabled feel that we've been kicked to the curb, literally. At the end of the day, disability is an equal opportunity advisor. And some of us in this exclusive club would wish that none of you ever become disabled. In order to walk in our shoes and feel what we feel, we pray to God that you sleep well. Thank you.
Shaniqua Council, resident at Goldwater.
Good evening, everyone. My pet peeves are that the way they did this was wrong. Okay, I'm a resident here, and I'm disabled, okay, I have lupus. My problem is, if you were going to do this, this building was supposed to code 215. And all of a sudden, they just putting everybody everywhere, no matter where they put them, don't care about conditions they have. If you have money, you don't have money. And I feel that what Bloomberg is doing is wrong. He should at least gave us time to figure out what we want to do, because these social workers around here don't do a darn thing. They don't try to help you do nothing. All they do is tell you, you can't afford this, you can't afford that, you can't go here, you can't go there. My problem, if I can't go to Cola, where am I going to go? Okay, I don't have any resources. They're not trying to give me any resources. They're not trying to help me with housing. They're not trying to do anything. All they do is sit up here and complain about their jobs. Half of these nurses don't need these jobs because they don't know what they're doing. You can get trained monkeys to do their jobs because they don't know nothing about the patient, about patient care. You got several in here that have some kind of common sense. The rest of them don't. And common sense is rare. The way I feel, this building should not be closed. COLA is not acceptable, okay? It's flooded, it's mold, people are getting sick, okay? If you want to do anything, close that. Because if they flood, we'll be drowned out over there. Over here, at least we have some kind of protection. And when we have floods, they don't ever say COLA Goldwater. You never even mention us. We're like expendable people. So I feel that we got robbed. And Bloomberg don't give it to him, but he would pray to God that none of his family members, nor himself, ever have to be in a nursing home and get treated like they treat some of these patients. Thank you.
Thank you. Miriam Hina, resident of, I'm having trouble saying this. It says new location.
Hi, my name is Miriam Pina.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Nice to see you.
I have a different perspective. I come from the new neighborhood, which you have one of your facilities in. I'm a resident in Madison Avenue, and I'm a block away from one of your new facilities, the North General Hospital building. I recently purchased a co-op unit there, and the residents in my building, as well as our community, is concerned of the impact your populated building will have in our community and neighborhood. This might be a lot of misconceptions and ignorance from our community because we don't have all the information, but we have been told that the way it's going to impact in our neighborhood is that we're going to have a lot of mentally ill roaming around and a lot of drug addicts that are going to be admitted in an ambulatory daily basis. And so I just want to be clarified tonight. One, is this for this matter to be clarified? And two, how is your move going to impact our community? How are you going to be a blessing, or how are you going to incorporate in the community? Again, it might be ignorance from our community because we don't know, but it's a different perspective from the other side of the river.
Thank you. And I apologize, I couldn't make out a new location. Okay, Luck Victorian, resident at Victoria. Thank you. Resident at Goldwater. The blue ink on this green paper is hard to read.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Locke Victorine, not Victorian, Victorine.
Victorine, thank you.
Yeah. Now you all are members of that association. How could you let them sell this community, which is a landmark? Everybody's saying everything else, but this is a landmark. This was a prison. These were hundreds of prisoners, and this has killed thousands of people. So I don't know why you all couldn't let them sell this place. And in the first place, why didn't you all let us know so we could protest? Because Bloomberg is a millionaire, he don't care about nobody. And if it's not too late, that you all could keep a meeting that we could protest. Some of us going up on the street because Carter Place does not have enough place to house us all. If we don't have big insurance, we cannot go there. And in this place, they have taken all our money. Kuala is not big enough. They pretend to be, but it is not big enough. All you know that, I know that. Just like I know they were going to sell this building, and as soon as I saw them putting up these high-rises, I know this building was going to sell. But they claimed they only know in 2012, which is a lie. I would like you all to clarify those things there for me. Please. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Victorian. Tyrone Franklin, Chapter Chair, Local 420, DC 37.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tyrone Franklin, the Chapter Chair, Goldwater, representing DC 37 and Local 420. I would like to thank everybody who spoke before me, and I would like to reiterate everything they said is part of the sentiments of most of the people that are concerned with what's going on. I would like to say DC 37 represents about 1,250 workers here at Goldwater. Presently, 2,140 of municipal labor unions and Goldwater Corp. We want to just make sure that you understand the dedication and the workers here on the front line have provided quality care for the workers here for many years, especially during the Hurricane Sandy. We ensured that there was no gap in excellent quality of care given to the patients here at Goldwater. We want y'all to understand that the average worker here has been working here for about 15 years. And to uproot them from what has been like their life work. So we want you to take into consideration and regarding the concerns that we have regarding health and hospital corporation about the new construction that's going on and turning the land over to the Cornell University. To reiterate what the guy said, to make sure that what they're doing with the land is going to be what is going to be conducive to the people who still reside and live here on the island. It's a lot of stuff they gave me to read, but we just want to make sure that the things that they're doing and the transparency that's going on with HHC continues. We have worked since 2011 with the health and hospital corporations, with a lot of their top leaderships, and we just want to make sure that the transparency going forward will still be the same, and everything that they're telling us will still be what they're planning on doing. And to really understand that, we feel that even though that we was concerned about for years saying that this place was going to close, when it did finally happen, it came rather quickly, and this type of hearing and meeting should have happened, much sooner, so people could address their concerns. We understand Cornell is coming in here, and they're going to turn the land. They're going to turn the land over to them, but we're and like people spoke earlier about, that we're sure that if a joint effort could have been made with Cornell University, they could have did something that could ensure the patients could still stay here and have the quality of life that they're having. Like the guy was saying earlier, it's like $1 million view. People can leave, they can go out in wheelchairs, and they can travel along the island and not worry about being accosted or feel safe. They feel safe in that environment. They don't know if they're going to have that same type of environment than up at home. So, again, I'd like to thank you again for, allowing me to speak here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. For the record, are there any registered speakers in the audience who have not had an opportunity to speak? At this time, there being no further registered speakers in the audience, I would like to thank all of you for participating in this hearing. Wish you all a safe trip home, and now formally close the hearing.